Well, good morning, everyone. This is the Knox County Commissioners, November 18th, 2025. We have Bethany here from Knox County Transit, and she's gonna start sharing a few things with us, and then we're gonna go outside and do a ribbon cutting as part of our process. And that won't be televised, right, Andrew? Okay, and then we'll come back and continue with our regular session. So Bethany, I turn it over to you to share with us.
Thank you. Yes. Today I wanted to use my update to celebrate some wins and kind of cap off the year featuring some of the things that we've been working on. The first part of this project has been in the works since 2023. So I'm really happy that we finally we have two brand new buses. And these buses were specifically designed with the wheelchair rider in mind. We found that the back of the bus is actually the hardest place to ride, and that is where most wheelchairs are loaded. So one of my first rides on a bus as a director, I picked the back and I picked the jump seat in the back, and I found myself trying to brace myself because of the energy that is kind of making you go back and forth. And I realized, and kind of putting myself in other people's place, gosh, if you don't have real strong arms or have the use of your arms and you're in the wheelchair back here, it can be a little bit alarming and it can be a very uncomfortable ride. So that was in 2023. Started looking at different floor plans and finding out that we can order and customize our own floor plans. So we picked something that had the wheelchair behind the driver's seat and just directly after that. And that makes the wheelchair inside the wheelbase, which is a much more smooth, stable ride. So really this project has been driven by compassion and just trying to see things from that different perspective. In October, we had 362 non-ambulatory rides. So we have about 7.5% of our riders need some sort of support and assistance, and are in wheelchairs. So we want to celebrate that and we want to think about them. And in addition, you've got some of these people are getting treatments, so they don't feel great when they're on their way back. So we really wanted to seize the opportunity of being able to do something extra and kind of accommodate that. So the great thing, the second part of this is that we had a lot of partnerships and support from other entities. And at the same time that we were ordering the vehicle, Steve Oster from the Board of Developmental Disabilities, their organization, they reached out and said, hey, we would like to help support you in some way. Do you have any projects that you're doing? And we talked about it. And they said that is exactly something that we would love to support, is vehicles that are more accommodating to folks in wheelchairs. So they were able to provide the local match for us to get that, which that has gone up considerably. The prices of buses have gone up. So that was extremely helpful, and it's wonderful to have their support. And then also in getting these new buses, we just got them wrapped. We've done our rebranding, and we have Pathways 211 here, Kristen McLeod, and they reached out to us and said, hey, we would like to advertise, we would like to support and kind of have a partnership here with, you've got these buses riding around and we'd like to get the word out about our services. And it really makes a great partnership because their services are about getting the word out about all the resources that we have. And it pairs perfectly with who we serve and being able to drive around all around the county and get the advertising for them. So if people don't know about 211, you can call or you can text and you can get information on anything, anything in Knox County, all of your resources. They were really instrumental in getting information about food banks and all of that, food resources, just any resources you need. So we were really happy to have those partnerships come alongside us. And so I wanted to celebrate that today too. So we have our two brand new buses out back and we're going to cut the ribbon and just kind of showcase what we've done this year and what we were able to purchase for people.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, so we'll take a brief recess to go do that, and then we'll come back.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome back. We just came back from outside, freezing, but we did get to ribbon cutting for our 2 new vehicles, and we especially thank Bethany and Nicole for being here and doing that. So now we have board members from the Knox County Airport, Mark Fritz and Joe Zigman. We appreciate you being here. We've been to 1 or 2 of their board meetings, and we said it'd be good for the Knox County to understand the gem that we have out there at the airport. And so they're here to enlighten us and the community about the Knox County Airport. And thank you, gentlemen, for being here.
Welcome. Appreciate the opportunity.
Turn it over to you.
All righty. Well, thank you for the opportunity to come and speak with you. It's nice to meet, and hopefully we can do so more often on a regular basis. Just some background on the airport. First of all, on the operation, we have five employees, 1 manager, 1 full-time employee, and 3 part-time. Quite a broad list of duties. Flight safety being first and foremost, emergency management, customer service, refueling, debris removal, whether snow, ice, or any other foreign objects off the runways and taxiways, maintenance of everything that goes on at the airport, wildlife management, and also administrative. We are open from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. throughout the week, and on the weekends, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and also on call for after hours, which happens quite a bit with jets coming in late. They need help refueling and things of that nature.
Talk a little bit about the broom there on the yellow machine. I know Chris was really proud about that when you acquired that equipment.
Absolutely. Both of these pieces of equipment are very large for the airport of our size. Not many have the ability to have those. The broom was acquired from the state, correct?
Yep.
It was state surplus. I'm not sure which airport it came from. So we a very good deal on that. It's very fast to clean the runway. It's second to none. And then the large plow on the right was from Akron Canton Airport. And that, I believe, was a gift.
Okay.
So, and we also have a smaller a plow truck as well, which is more typical of what you would see at the size of airport we have. So we have very quick snow removal. It's it's the fastest I've ever seen, to be honest with you.
You want to share the little incident with the,
Sorry?
you want to share the little incident with everybody about what happened with the.
Well, I mentioned wildlife management on some of the duties, and there happened to be a during the beginning of the rut of our local wildlife deer population. Somehow they were able to get into the fence, and one of our tenants hit a deer.
Oh, wow.
Near the landing gear, and not much damage except for the landing gear door, but the deer lost that. And it's unfortunate. We have that risk there, and it is a risk. It can be a very big risk. So it's something to stay on top of, and we're looking at different options to help mitigate that in the future as well.
I knew the fence was down at one point recently. So.
Yeah, and also gates sometimes don't close fast enough, and that's really kind of the culprit is what I think, but we just don't know. But the gate, the fencing's all intact, but nonetheless, there was a bit of debris at the end of the runway when that happened. So things that were movable were moved, and then the snow broom was used to clean the runway. And then it wasn't quite clean, so that we also had vultures and things that were interested in what was left behind. So we ended up calling.
We partnered.
with
Yeah.
the fire department, and fortunately, they knew how to spray things off with a lot of water, so.
Unusual.
Yeah, so they were very helpful and took care of that for us, so. Yeah,
So the three gentlemen on the bottom photo there, are they trying to replicate the Beatles album?
yeah, I think so, yes, absolutely.
Joe, the services on the right, are those free amenities or are those some free and then some charges in that column?
Well, certainly not fuel.
Yeah, I get that one, yeah, but the free crew car,
Yeah, crew cars are free, for folks that come into town, crew sometimes have to sit around the
Sure.
terminal building for a long time, so it gives them a chance to come and get a bite to eat, or, if they have, friends or family nearby, they can also go there. That's definitely a free service that we have. And then there's also, the conference room is open if they need it, the
Sure.
student briefing rooms are open, if they need it. It's also could be a private lounge if somebody has, some computer work or some business to tend to, either one of the conference rooms or the student briefing room, they can use those. That's, no charges there. Hertz will bring cars up and stage them for anybody that needs them. There's also a number of other private companies that will do executive transportation and so on and so forth. And yeah, so
nice.
Joe, some of the people don't maybe realize how important an airport is to economic development in the community, jobs and corporations. Could you share some of that?
absolutely. If you just want to move to the next slide, please.
There you go.
So you can see on the right, maybe scroll up just a hair, please. Okay, good. So you can see to the right that Knox County, right in the middle of the state, there are different levels of airports, and we are level 2, which is quite nice. That means we have jet, we have a certain number, we have a jet based, at least one, a certain number of fixed tenants and operations throughout the year. So it's really good to be in that mix of 18 level 2 airports. If you scroll up just a hair. I'm sorry, down just a hair. Sorry about that. You can see there's quite a bit level 3 and level 4 throughout the state. But so we have a gem out in the country just south of town. So the economic development is pretty widespread. I would say that half of the top 25 companies in town, either they or the suppliers or the customers use our airport to come and go on a regular basis. So that's very significant. Also with things like over 200,000 in wages, property taxes, fuel taxes, all those contribute to the local and state offers, let's say. With in the last 20 years, almost 2 million gallons of fuel sold. That's significant money going to the fuel taxes. And there's 84 aircraft on site. 30 plus folks are waiting for hangar space. And that's since I've joined the board in beginning of 2021, it's been 30 plus, and it just continues. And if folks go away and find other alternatives, they get replaced, and it's in the high 30s right now. So it just kind of oscillates 30 plus. So there's a heavy need for hangar space. We have 65 operations a day. About a little over a third of those are not based here. They're on they're transient. A lot of major universities, flight programs, they use our airport as part of their cross-country training, and it's a really good airport for very early pilots to practice a lot of touch and go takeoffs and landings in uncontrolled airspace. So outside of the Columbus area or outside of the bigger cities where they come from.
So when you say 65 operations, for those who don't understand airport talk,
Okay,
so operations is just the landing, or is that also the taking off?
it's a takeoff or landing and a
Okay.
landing. Yeah, it's both.
So the landing and then taking off, that's 2.
Correct.
So out of that 65, then we're talking 33 airplanes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I already mentioned the business impact or the users from business. There's also few times a year, utility line inspectors and maintenance come out, and it's some really, if you we'll try to keep you informed, because it's really something to see these machines. They're heavy duty helicopters with booms that cut limbs along the high tension power
I
lines.
saw one of those last night flying by my
Yeah.
head, so.
It is very, very neat operation. It's something very unique and you don't think about unless you know about it. So also the military comes by, med flights, significant amount of area college and university families use the airport. And then sometimes pilots just pick it because we have better fuel prices. They need a break. They want to refill their aircraft. And again, using the crew car for free, if they can come in and have a lunch in town. On site, there's some private businesses with agricultural and painting and maintenance. And we feel that we have grown as the region has grown, and we're going to continue to grow. So in terms of capital investments in the area, at the airport, since 2017, 6 million, 2 million in progress now, 2 million in the next 2 years, and then 5 to 10 million all the way through 2035. So significant potential. Obviously, we like to make it a controlled growth and not overgrow. But we want to be prepared as well. So we want to be just in line with the growth and needs. But as we see, we can, the hardest thing to do is to grow to where we can increase, build hangars. That's the toughest thing to get to, because the FAA has some stipulations on that. And you have to make sure your groundwork, all of your tarmac, all of your runways, your taxiways, your aprons, your ramps, everything on the ground is in perfect condition before any subsidy can be used for such a revenue generating.
So those hangars are out of pocket paid for, no grants or anything like that to help?
We won't build them completely out of pocket. It just won't happen.
Right.
It's not feasible to do so. So we have to wait till we're finishing up we have a project coming up, which I have a slide on, if you want to go to the next slide. It'll be on the next, but that one there, before we go. You can see the outline of the airport. That's the fence line, and there's a ton of space on the north side that is really highly developable. There's groundwork and drainage work, site prep that we would have to do to make all of that usable. But that's the best place. It's a little too close to the edge line of the property and the runway to really develop on the south side. But the north side is, without buying future properties to expand, which isn't out of the question, if folks want to sell towards Miller Road there, that's a potential. Something that we would at least investigate. But beyond, we have a lot to develop. We can develop on the north, and there's always scenarios that we get, large scenarios that could really chew up a lot of land quickly if those scenarios ever come to fruition. Folks doing business cases and things like that. So good potential here. If you want to scroll down. Okay, this is just a little bit of details on the projects that are going on. But if you, on the right, lower right, you see a green box there. That's the Aviation Education Center.
The new one.
The new one, and hangar, and the ramp in front of that to the bottom or to the south. That's the last piece of groundwork that we have to do until 2030/2031. And so that will give us an opportunity to build an additional hangar or two, or even three, with grant money and local match. We always have local match as well, which it amounts to no more than 10% of the project. So it's quite good. So everything else has been refurbished or rebuilt. And the next groundwork, like I said, in 2030, 2031 will be the long parallel taxiway that runs parallel for the entire runway. And that will be a big project there. So 2025 to 27, we have the Aviation Education Center. It's in a joint use agreement with the OSU, Ohio State. It's in progress right now. It's estimate to complete December of this year or January of 26. Right in that time frame, and we will obviously let you all know and invite the community out for a grand opening in the spring of 26 when the weather's nicer.
Mhm.
A little warmer. We just completed an AWAS replacement. AWAS is the aviation weather reporting system. The pilots call ahead and they decide whether they're coming here as a option or as part of their path where they're going. They will refer to that, and that's electronically as well, available online as well as broadcast throughout they can tune into a frequency and hear that when they're in the air as well. You don't have time to necessarily look on your iPad or what have you. And then,
So the building that you're talking about right now, is that also the one that we de-ice
yes.
the
Yes.
planes to?
Mhm. And we'll have a little bit of we'll have one that we'll finish up with that
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
But absolutely, you're correct. Just finished, like I said, the AWAS, we're in contract for new runway lights. And what's really unique here for Knox County is we're putting in high intensity runway lights, which is not common for, community, county, regional airports that are not commercial service operations. But so we will have that. We have enough jet traffic here. And it wasn't, we were already planning on a medium intensity and we just decided last board meeting, we're upgrading in the process without much of an impact on cost. That it'll be a very big safety improvement, low visibility, times. It's very good to have those and that'll be very, very safe for our pilots coming in. And the transient jets that come often. We've already talked about the apron. That's what the next one is. 26. We're going to shoot for getting that finished in 2026. The last of the groundwork, and we're going through ODOT, and ODOT has some supplemental funding available, so we're going through that process now. Applications will be submitted before December. There's a deadline in September, and then we'll know in February, and we'll pivot. If that's not awarded, then we'll pivot to FAA to pursue that. It'll stretch out the time a little bit to be able to build that, to finish that groundwork, to actually do the construction. But so we have dual source here, but ODOT, there's an opportunity there to expedite it. We've talked about the snow equipment, but we need a shed to store those in. Keep them, right now they're out under, and there's a lot of maintenance associated with that, and also hydraulics and things of that nature that you want them available for the winter. And hydraulics tend to gel up and thicken up, the viscosity goes crazy, so you got to sit there and let it warm up. That's the only, so we definitely need to get a snow removal equipment. Now, the FAA will fund a portion of it, but not for the size of equipment that we have. They will fund a certain amount. And it depends on the criteria, their sources for the criteria. It's around 1,600 square foot or 2,000 square foot.
So those two pieces of equipment, Joe, sit outside all year round.
Mhm.
So that's a
It's a problem.
problem.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's definitely on the priority list to do. And it's, and we can, we're still looking at options of a maintenance building for those versus just an equipment storage shed. And where do we land on the funding and how does it work? But we'll be happy to get it under roof. At the very minimum, we have to get it under roof. And then beyond that, additional hangar spaces, all the green that you see on the screen to the left are all options for future hangars. Again, the one on the bottom right is green, but it's nearly complete, so eventually it'll turn blue, let's say in December or January, but and then the taxiway construction in 2030 and drainage and building site improvements as well, so we can prepare for the next wave beyond what you see in this picture, that all needs drainage and site work, dirt work.
I have a couple questions.
Absolutely.
Apparently. The major income comes from fuel at the airport
Yes,
here.
fuel and.
So is it
rent.
more of a fuel stop type airport? Or do you get where I'm going with that is because you have fuel? And I'm assuming that those fuel prices become very competitive.
Yes.
So are people stopping you because you're very competitive in the fuel price business? Is that?
Yeah. What we did 2 years ago is we renegotiated our fuel contracts, went out to bid and obtained a much lower rate. And then what we also do every month is we look at the region, at the competitiveness of the cost in the region, and then ahead of the board meeting. So we'll look 70 miles out for jet as well as for avgas for the general aviation. And the intent is to be
Profitable, competitive.
yeah, right. Yeah, you definitely don't want to give it away, but you have to be competitive to make them stop, or have them want to stop, especially general aviation aircraft.
Sure.
Because it's easy to pick one over the other, because especially if you're going somewhere long distance, you'll pick this one over that one, and they're looking on their for flight to get the fuel prices. So yeah, it's been very, very competitive. But we've made ourselves more competitive because in the business case, it was a no-brainer to go do the work on obtaining new contracts. We didn't put any growth factor in it, and we have grown. Last year we broke probably 4 records, including the annual record, 4 monthly records in the 20-year history. So
Congratulations.
we intentionally put no growth in, so we wanted to make sure that it made sense in the business case with conservatism, and it worked out quite well.
I've never been to other airports, the size that we have, but your amenities are very nice there,
Yes.
the building and everything, restrooms, are very nice. So you talk about expansion maybe? Or growth,
Yes.
the runways or the tarmac. How long do those hold? So what I'm asking you is you currently have an airstrip there. If you expand the amount of people who are coming there, how long will a runway like that last? And it sounds to me like a big expense in order to repair that. So that would be part of your growth dollar amount that you would need in order to keep that maintained, correct?
Absolutely. That the maintenance it is to me, the maintenance is an operating cost, right?
Right.
But in terms of any kind of CapEx outlay, fortunately, that has been recently expanded, extended, built in the last, how long ago? It was 5 years ago. So we have a lot of life in it, 15, 20 years.
Okay, so that's
And it's
normal.
Yeah, and it's a
15-year.
Plus ours is a group runway.
Right.
Yeah.
It's unique among the airports around.
very unique. So it dries within minutes and so you don't have the water pooling.
Distorted. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's tough on especially small aircraft, but jets like it too.
Yeah.
But so it's a unique runway with the grooving and the size of it. When I do that competitive analysis for the fuel, our runways 5,500, and I always pick airports that have runways 5,000 or greater
Sure.
to do the competitive analysis for Jet A, because we can land the biggest business jets here. We can even land some of the regional jets, and if you wanted to land a 737, you probably get it on the ground, but you're not going to get it off the ground.
But
So-
not without taking some stuff down, right?
That's right. You might need to take it apart and truck it out. But
The fuel is the accommodations. You guys did a great job of doing the restrooms and the facilities there, because I think those are the two things you look at. You look at what is the fuel price and what are the facilities like?
yeah,
Because you're gonna be stopping, especially if there's a female in the bunch. And
Yeah.
that's what a pilot will look at to where they're choosing to stop. And you guys did a great job of renovating
We get
those.
a lot of.
Yes,
Yeah, that's a-
beautiful.
I agree. I thank you very much because they put a lot of work into that. It was before I showed up on the board, but absolutely, I remember the way it was a long time ago when I would take my kids out there to play. My kids would go out, I'd think about to watch planes come and go, and it was like a little different. So, yeah, I was very surprised.
Two more questions and then I'm probably mentally exhausted at that point. The hangars, apparently they won't rent. They won't gather enough rent money to pay for themselves if you build one. Is that what I'm understanding? So if, let's say, figures don't mean anything, but hangar's 100,000, just throwing numbers out there, and you rent it for $10 a month. Does the rental fee ever catch up with the price of the hangar?
No, there's no return on investment.
Right,
That's
it's a
possible.
commodity.
If you pay for it out of your pocket and you have the normal, you have some stipulations of what, you can take funding from the federal government. Some standards, some specifications you have to follow, those sorts of things. So it's not like putting a pole barn up and you can park a plane in it, it's a little different. So they have to be to a certain standard. And to meet those standards, it's cost prohibitive to do so in today's supply chain, crazy supply chain environment that hit everybody, every business, every industry. It hits us too. So steel, everything is much more expensive. Labor is much more expensive. So it doesn't make financial sense to do so out of your pocket. And honestly, I mean, it's, you could, if you had a bit of a break on, in one area of the cost breakdown, you could break even, but it's not a business venture in and of itself to go put up hangars and expect to make a
So it's years to break even, I would imagine.
20 years or
Yeah.
something.
But the benefit is great to the local community.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Not count, absolutely, Trent. It's not, it takes into account none of the business benefits, the economic impact benefits. That's not included with it. I'm just,
Right,
if
just
you're,
the airport operations.
Yeah,
doesn't-
yeah.
To amplify what he said about the supply chain, the runway lights that we're putting in, we've been waiting for those for how long? Over a year.
Supplies,
Yeah,
yeah.
over a year. I mean, we're ready to go, but we have to wait for those to come in.
And then one more, I saw, was up there, your employees. Any thought about a technician out there ever? Or can you even get one to come to an airport that size?
Technician of what type?
A mechanic.
I can't.
Oh, absolutely. To be
We've been
honest,
talking.
this.
I used to catch all kinds of grief if I called them mechanics in a previous life, so that.
We've talked.
At the airport, they're fine.
Yeah.
You can be an A&P mechanic or whatever. Actually, yeah, there's some that can do maintenance now, and we've had dedicated folks that actually had hangar space to do maintenance at. And they have gone, and there's transient folks that can come in, but the intent here, one of those green hangars at the top, the north side,
Mhm.
the very first one, if we can make that happen, we would really prefer to make that a maintenance hangar. It will draw in. You'd probably need 2 mechanics to run that,
Right.
and I would say it would create 2 to 3 jobs, and it would bring a ton more to the airport for maintenance services.
Absolutely.
So currently, since I don't know anything about airplanes other than how to jump out of them at what point in my life. If you needed work on your airplane now, what is the closest place for you to take it? I'm sure it depends on the severity of the repair maybe, but where would you have to go to get a technician to work on?
It may be able to happen on site, depending on if one of the folks there that are licensed to do so is willing to do so.
Okay.
It depends on what it is, right? And then if not, you could ask for someone to fly it to the site if it's immovable, let's say. But if it's airworthy,
Right.
you can take it to any number. You could take it to Coshocton, you could take it to Urbana, or any of the larger places that have a good.
So Coshocton has a.
Well, they do now because that's where ours went.
Well, that's not funny, but.
No, well, it just is what it is,
Yeah.
it's and
Yeah.
So, I mean, so you can take it to
Yeah,
any other
okay.
repair station as long as it's airworthy, and if not, you just pay someone to fly in if somebody here is not willing to or able to do it. Yeah,
That's all I've got.
yeah,
Thank you.
but and honestly, it's tough because there's a shortage around the country of A&P mechanics, airframe and power plant mechanics is a very big shortage, and so ideally partnering up with, coming up with some sort of solution from the airport to, sponsor folks that are interested or, go to technical school. It's a 1 to 2 year program. There's all kinds of ideas we're tossing around. How do we, create opportunity for somebody
Sure.
that is interested in that and actually for a certain amount of time, you're gonna work in that new hangar that we build, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Is something of that nature.
Sure.
And
Out of curiosity, just my thought, during the shutdown, did you have more folks landing because they didn't want to go through Columbus and all the turmoil with the different other airports that were having the issues with the traffic control?
I would say that we had more than expected, but not as much jet traffic because business was so,
Right.
locked down and folks, so you didn't have the business travel. So in terms of, fuel sales and all of that, it was depressed. But in terms of the number, general aviation aircraft, absolutely. It was kind of like, go fly your small plane and
Yes.
do it yourself and your family or whatever, and that's
The
it.
big airports and
Yeah, yeah,
and the
absolutely.
shutdowns
Yeah.
and the delays and the cancellations. And I think that we'll see more desire for people to go regionally and not just to these giant airports that
Oh.
would be so cumbersome.
Well, that came up in the conversation at the last board meeting, because the airline or the airports were shutting down. They were redirecting traffic
Mhm.
to or surrounding airports, and we talked about that. Is that gonna affect us? But fortunately, the shutdown stopped. But it's now something that we gotta think about.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, we're at the end. We've got someone else coming in next week. I know that Joe will get on the schedule. I know you have one more slide there, but we need to
Move on.
We'll do that with the.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Aviation Education Center,
Yeah.
big hangar. It's on track to finish December or January, and we will come back and announce a public grand opening and have a big get together for the community down there. So fun.
Appreciate all the
Yeah.
contribution you make to the community. So it's good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
He's sitting up with some.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Commissioners?
Hey,
Hey.
good morning. Good seeing you.
See you too.
So now we're gonna get the aggregation update on our energy. Bob, thank you.
Yeah. Good to be here, commissioners. Again, Bob Snavely with Palmer Energy, representing CCAO Energy Program. I called Jason, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I guess, and told him that I wanted to talk about aggregation. I said, but it's not what you think it is. We've tried aggregation countywide a couple of times, and unfortunately, you run into the issue of co-ops, and that's true in every county in Ohio, and they tend to vote against it. And we tried, to reach out and get people's attention, and it didn't really work. But Fredericktown is part of the Ohio Municipal League energy program, which, as you know, is associated with the CCAO. They're kind of under the same umbrella now. And then recently we just brought Mount Vernon on board. And so with the idea of the two villages or city and village working together to get a discount, and so on pricing. And so we were able to do that from a timing perspective this time around. But the big picture concept that we would like to accomplish is to bring in more of the villages and the different townships where the numbers make sense. And so what I brought with me today is just kind of a breakdown here of the different townships and villages in the county. Happy to hand that to, I've got plenty of them, so. Well. And this data is not perfect, it's a little bit old, but it gives a general idea of. The green are the villages that are currently in the village in Mount Vernon City that are currently in the program. And then if you look at all the villages are 100% served by AEP. So those make for good possibility of passage when you talk about putting it on the ballot. And so, you know, with the idea of creating a larger group underneath the county umbrella will create larger purchasing power and better pricing essentially for all those involved. And then the highlighted townships you can kind of see are all 80% or above served by AEP as well. And so those, just from the standpoint of you know, keeping in mind that co-ops generally tend to vote against this, give you you know, a fairly good chance on the ballot. And you know, that's not to say that any of the other townships that you know are listed here aren't welcome to try to put it on the ballot themselves. Everybody's more than welcome to do that. It's just these are the ones by the numbers that we think, you know, make the most sense. And so the big idea would be, again, everybody kind of coming underneath the county umbrella. And then the next step there would be getting the county certified as aggregators through the state. And so, for example, Fredericktown is a certified aggregator through the state, as is Mount Vernon. What they would do procedurally is cede authority to the county so that the commissioners would be the aggregators of, you know, whoever Fredericktown and Mount Vernon right now, and then whoever decides to jump on board going forward. This is how we do it in most of the counties in Ohio. In Licking County, Newark cedes authority to the county, and Muskingum County, Zanesville does. Those are just a couple examples. And then in Licking, I think we have virtually all the villages and cities in the program. In Muskingum, not as many, but looking to obviously grow that. And so we've seen a lot of success with that. It makes a lot of sense for the general public to understand, for the residents to understand, because you're county commissioners, you voted on by everybody in the county. And so there's not really any kind of conflict of interest as far as, you know, everybody living in the county. And so it's just kind of an opportunity. I've talked to Fredericktown and Mount Vernon. They really like the idea. And so, you know, different conversation than the aggregation conversations we've had previously.
Then you and I talked, and I kind of briefed each commissioner a little bit on that. So
Okay.
You feel like Fredericktown and Mount Vernon will secede authority to the commissioners. They're willing to do that. That would go through the councils. Is that how that would go?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you know, commonsensically, Jason, when you explain it to people, they go, oh yeah, well, that makes sense. Why wouldn't we do that? You know? And so that's why it's worked so well in the other counties. So yeah, they're bought into it. You know, when we got Mount Vernon, that was sort of part of the conversation that we had with Tanner and the mayor, when talking about it. So
The lower percentage ones, does that mean they probably are in a co-op of some sort?
yes, yeah, Commissioner, that's right, exactly.
So, and you mentioned to me, you know, this takes a little more work to ballot each township versus kind of before we tried.
Mhm.
All the unincorporated areas, but since we have areas that obviously didn't want it. But then we can pick up those townships, the villages, and at least make a bigger ag program for those people that do want it.
That's exactly right. And so, you know, you always start fishing with the biggest net you can, because if you can get everybody in the unincorporated areas together, you get just a larger scale purchasing power. But if that doesn't work, because obviously it's a valid issue, then the next best thing and the next thing that we try to look at is, all right, well, who is served to what percentage, and then what townships and villages make sense. And so that's kind of the process that we're at right now. And again, this is, part of this process is me going to these villages and going to these townships and saying, to the different trustees, are you willing to put this on the ballot? I mean, essentially, if we're doing it township by township, if we're doing it village by village, it's the village council decision, it's the township trustees decision. But, I think if you have your two, your Mount Vernon, your county seat and Fredericktown, I believe the second largest village, people tend to, get on board because why wouldn't you,
And this really picked up because CCAO and Bob, they reached out and ended up getting into the city of Mount Vernon. And that was really
Exactly.
the game changer, that now they're there and you already had Fredericktown.
Right.
So, it makes sense that they would want to partner with you together and save more money. I think it's interesting. We tried it twice and it failed because it seems like such a simple concept, but if you don't want to be in, you just opt out. If you want to be in, you're gonna save money.
Right.
And so, it didn't go anywhere, but
It's bizarre too. That's exactly right. But it's, I say the co-op thing, and again, I've said this before, but I don't think people intentionally go out in the co-op and vote against it because, I just think they look at it and think, oh, this may have some effect on my co-op, and I like my co-op, so my vote is no, without necessarily knowing that it won't affect them. And unfortunately, there's no way to differentiate who's with the co-op and who can vote on, and who can't. It's just logistically, you can't really do it. And so Knox County, it's not unsimilar than other counties. I mean, I mentioned Licking County, we have put it on the ballot countywide there a couple times and it's failed. But like I said, virtually I'm pretty sure every village and city in Licking County is an aggregator now, or part of an aggregation. Most of the major majority of them are part of under the county umbrella. But we still have, and their numbers are slightly better than yours as far as service served by the utility. So it's not uncommon in other counties, and the majority of, we do have several countywide, but we also have probably just as many where townships have ceded authority because it just doesn't, the numbers don't work countywide. But to my point, my original point is you always want to start there.
Right.
Because you want to get as many people in as you can. And then if that doesn't work, you maybe try it a couple times. And then if that doesn't work, you start to kind of go to different areas where where the numbers do make sense.
And if nobody else came on, but Fredericktown and Mount Vernon seceded authority to the commissioners and we did this. Fredericktown and Mount Vernon, those citizens are gonna save more money than they're saving even now, right? Because they have their own aggregate, now they're building a bigger aggregate.
Well, so how we did it, so how we did it this time is we actually had both the village and the city refresh and sign on the same day. And so we did already kind of leverage it that way.
Okay.
It's just gets a little messier that way. It's much easier to cede authority and then have everybody on one contract, especially if you're gonna grow, and our plan is to grow the program.
Right.
Because all of a sudden now you have, 10 or 8 entities trying to sign a contract on the same day at the same time. And that just becomes cumbersome and, you can get mistakes made and the idea is you want to have the same price for everybody and you want everybody on the same contract because again, to your point, like there's purchasing power and essentially better price.
So Mount Vernon and Fredericktown are basically leveraged together, but if Danville or Centerburg came on, then the next time, then everybody would potentially save more money.
Right, exactly. The more and so on and so forth. And we're in the process too of coming up, and I don't want to, we're very close to coming up with an idea where we can work counties together in different areas of the state who have the same utilities to just kind of maximize that, to scale it up, create larger purchasing power. We're going to talk about that probably first quarter of next year. So I'll probably be here again, kind of talking about scaling it up even further. It's because of the success that we've had doing that for county facilities. Because we're doing that currently for county facilities, and our thought process is how can we do this for aggregation as well, so they can see the same benefit, which also it's a benefit in pricing, but it's also a benefit in when you have big numbers, you can get bigger players involved. And so with more, participating suppliers, more competition, better pricing. And so leveling that up is kind of what we're looking at on the aggregation side. Now, the tough part about that is, having counties cede authority to other counties, and it's kind of, so we're working on how we can do that. But more to come on that, just kind of as we move along and get closer to the beginning of.
Have you ever
Next year.
discussed aggregation in the past with the other villages?
I haven't yet.
No, okay.
I haven't yet.
Cause Fredericktown's had that for quite a while.
Actually Fredericktown for many years. Actually, my predecessor, Bill. I don't know if you remember Bill.
Yeah.
Bill actually did that one. And he's been gone for several years. So Fredericktown's been in for a long time. But we didn't necessarily wanted to go village by village unless we had this kind of structure.
Right.
Because what will also happen is if you get to like Martinsburg or 97 households, suppliers may go, and we just
Right.
juice isn't worth the squeeze for us, type thing. Whereas if they're part of the county program, we're interested.
So what do you, we talked a little bit, and so what do you, if the commissioners wanted to do this, I know you kind of take care of your company. Takes care of all kind of the behind.
Yeah, not a whole lot of lifting on the county's part too, which is important. We will file everything for you, which is what we do with Fredericktown and my partner right now. We'll file all the PUCO paperwork, and I'll come to you for signatures. We keep everything updated. When we do the RFP, I'll bring the RFP results to you. It depends on each city and villages. Some villages always send either the mayor or somebody on council to come and go over everything, be part of the meeting. We encourage that. Most don't. You guys can handle it type thing, which is fine. But that kind of involvement is part of it. But you will be signing on behalf of all of those that are involved. But as far as, what kind of lift does this have for the county going forward? Not much. I'll call you and, hey, we need this signed and notarized, that sort of thing.
And there's really no negative consequence of doing this. It's other than the positive side, you're just gonna save people more money potentially, the bigger we do.
Really, like if you had a city or a village that really didn't get along with the county, then maybe. Usually that's big counties and big cities where where there are issues there. Since I've been doing this, knock on wood, I've never had any issue. And some good sized cities, Zanesville and Newark are good sized, decent sized cities as far as like, they're not Cleveland or anything like that, but they've ceded authority and there's never been really any issue with that.
And this is a ballot issue though, right?
Correct, sir.
And you guys handle all that.
Yeah, getting on. So I will go out to the villages, I will go out to the townships. Explain the program, what we're trying to do here. And
But I think the key is even if nobody else wanted to ballotized this, you'd still, by the commissioners doing this, can let Fredericktown and Mount Vernon.
Sure, yeah.
together.
I gathered that.
Yeah.
And there was a statement made that, just for clarification, if they did decide to go with an aggregate, the individual household has the opportunity not to join it if they want.
Yeah, they can opt out at any time, or opt in at any time for
In
no
or
fee.
out, yeah.
Right, exactly.
So they can opt in at any time.
Yep,
Just like they really-
in or out at any time for no fee. That's pretty much standard for any of the aggregation that we do, for sure, and it's pretty much an industry standard at this point.
So on the sheet that you gave us then, on the villages, the village council needs to pass a resolution to put it on their ballot? Or can they do theirs just by resolution?
They have to pass a resolution to put it on the ballot, file it at the Board of Elections, and
So can they do that as a group to try to save money on the ballot costs?
now, we haven't done that before. But if there's an election, I don't think there is a ballot cost.
there's in their ballot cost, anytime a village or township puts something on, I think they have to put money down to do that.
Cost.
If there is, I've never encountered that, Commissioner, I can ask.
I know they have to on levies.
I think it would be an individual issue because only the people in Centerburg are voting on Centerburg and
Yeah.
only the people, it's not a combined yes or no, it's.
Right, yeah, because essentially, that's right, because essentially you could have two villages vote for it and two vote against it.
Yeah.
Now, generally, villages we have really good success with because they're 100% served, at least that's our history.
Right.
But as far as the cost goes, Commissioner, if there is one, I can look into
Well,
that.
their resolution, Bob, at the time they passed that to put it on the ballot, was that same resolution, go ahead and succeed authority of the commissioner, or they would wait till it passed and then they would succeed authority to.
Probably wait till it passes. I mean, you know, you can do it both at the same, you can do it either way, but you probably want to have something to see. To, you
Once
know,
it yeah.
so generally, yeah, we would have it passed on the ballot, then seat authority.
Okay.
And sometimes that, I mean, it's, you know, a page or two, it's,
Yeah.
not-
So if this were decided, there is no additional administrative work for the commissioners or
other than
the people who.
if you got somebody who can sign a contract and is a notary, I mean, you know, I'll bring in RFP results and go over them with you, so maybe a meeting,
Right.
but not really.
So, yeah, you'll give more defined information to Jason as to the timing for when we need to do our resolution. And also the timing for when the villages, there's two.
Yeah, exactly. I'll work with Jason on all this and you know, our next step is to start the process of getting you certified, which is basically PUCO paperwork. And again, work with him on that.
Okay, good.
The
Thanks.
townships can go in and out as they want to without ballot, or it's always a ballot issue.
So once it passes on the ballot, they have the ability to be an aggregator. And then they'd cede authority to the county commissioner, and then at that point, they're part of the county program. You know, they could essentially pass a resolution in the future to get out. But once they cede authority to the county program, then they would be part of it until they don't want to be anymore, basically.
But their homeowners are in, they could opt in and out.
Yes, correct. Yeah, I'm sorry, individual households, yes.
All right.
Yep, absolutely.
So the gain is better negotiated prices for their power, electric. And the negative side is not there because they can go in and out as they desire.
Right.
It's just, it gives them the
It's an
option.
option,
It's not
exactly.
mandated.
It's another option for them, exactly.
Okay, Jeff,
Good.
good deal.
Great. Thank you. Good to see you, Commissioners. Thank you.
Have a good weekend when it gets here.
Absolutely, you too. Stay warm. All of a sudden,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
we switched from fall right to winter, I guess. Or summer to winter,
I
maybe.
was gonna say, we can't complain though. We have
Yeah.
a great summer.
Lasted well in excess of what I thought it would.
And leaves still.
Bill.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll mention it to you and then you can,
Thanks again,
Thank
Commissioner.
you.
Good to see you. Take care.
Feel-
I'll tell you, let me tell them what's going on, then you
Yeah.
can talk about. Hey, Brian,
Brian?
Yeah, come
Hey,
on in.
Commissioner,
Welcome.
so this wasn't on the agenda today, but Tyler Moore and Brian Biggerstaff. I got an email on the 6th of November about Tyler, and it was a good email. And so we obviously we don't get positive affirmations very often, but this one was one from the Newark Law Director. And so Commissioner, if you'll read that email that they sent me, and we'll go from there.
Yes, so Jason received this email from Tricia M. Moore, Director of Law, City of Newark, Law Director's Office. And the email goes as this. Good afternoon. I just wanted to send you an email about Deputy Dog Warden Tyler Moore, which is you, right? You're not first name, okay? I am and Tricia goes on, I am the law director for the city of Newark. We have developed a home court program, home being HOME is a program that assists nonviolent offenders who have been charged with criminal offenses for being homeless, an opportunity to get on their feet and have their charge dismissed as a result of their compliance with court orders. A big component of our program is to help restore dignity to these individuals. We have a participant who is an elderly veteran by the name of Jack. Jack was struggling with homelessness in our county, and as a result was charged with criminal trespass. Jack entered our home court program and has since obtained housing, has improved his health, and is working every day to improve himself. However, there was one spot of sadness with Jack that we were not able to help. He missed his canine companion, Bossy. Bossy had been in the custody of the Knox County dog warden for about 6 months due to Jack having medical issues and allowing others to be in his home that permitted his dogs to run at large. The dogs were eventually surrendered because Jack did not have the means or the help to take care of Bossy. Through our program, Jack worked tirelessly to make himself stronger to be able to get his dog back, but needed help figuring out how to make it happen. With the help of Deputy Tyler Moore, our office was able to work with Jack and his attorney to obtain a safely plan for Bossy for safe return, and Jack was able to pay the fee for her adoption. I asked Tyler if he could possibly deliver Bossy to our court so that we could reunite Jack with his dog. Tyler agreed, and we are forever grateful. The reunion did not allow a dry eye to exist in that room, and a veteran's heart was made whole. Tyler's kindness and willingness to help us is worthy of praise. It is people like Tyler that change the negative image of law enforcement dog wardens. No wonder, or no one will ever forget that moment and the incredible kindness shown by Tyler that helped restore Jack's heart and give him a great reason to keep fighting. The media is filled with so many negative stories about our officers. However, the stories of empathy and compassion are just as, if not more, important for communities to hear about. Thank you, thank you, thank you to Tyler and the Knox County administration for helping us make a little miracle happen in our city. With much appreciation.
Well done.
Great
Well
job.
done.
So Tyler, we have a coin for you, Knox County coin. It's our Bitcoin, doesn't have any value, but it is our Bitcoin, and we wanted you to come in and express our appreciation for what you have done for Jack and as a great representative for Knox County, and we appreciate that, Tyler.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good job, Tyler. Good job.
Thank you.
So, do we want to get a photo of Tyler
Yeah, you better.
and Brian?
Brian.
We'll move you over. I think we'll go over by the side.
Give them all free publicity, right? Yes.
Yes.
Do it, portrait.
Did you want to hear too, Penny?
No, thank you.
My mother. Hear your video, is that your music? My music, yeah.
Oh, excuse me. I'm gonna take a couple. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Perfect. Great job.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, thank you.
Much appreciated. Did all the work.
While we're at it, can we do another commissioner picture? Besides that horrible one.
Yeah, thank
While we're
you.
at it.
Thank you.
Yeah, the one where you and I look like we're 400 pounds.
Well, that's pretty close. What it is here.
Yeah.
I can show you to it. It's run a million
They
times.
take one now, you're probably starving, you haven't gone to lunch yet.
Yeah.
Before you eat lunch.
What commissioner picture were you thinking of?
The one they always put in the paper.
We don't have control, these guys don't have control of the paper.
No, I've
Is that
never.
your papers, Cheryl?
It's there. Who provided it?
You guys.
No, it's-
Good.
Now he's.
We didn't provide it, so it's not gonna change.
Oh, you did.
Muted, Barry, muted.
All right.
I used to be able to turn this into chess, and kind of amazing.
Yeah,
No, I don't
there'll
move.
be copies at the
It's
front
less-
desk.
It was a wide angle lens. It had to be. I had to look at it. That isn't you.
Yes, I've never noticed.
All right, so we have just a few other items to go through. We have, we need to rescind the resolution 2025-555 that we did about closing the county offices, and it was just verbiage of it being a holiday versus you just administratively authorizing elected officials to do that. So the first one, we're just gonna rescind that, if I have a motion to rescind that resolution.
Motion to rescind.
Second.
Those favors say aye.
Aye.
And then we'd have a resolution to replace that, which is 2025. Is that? No, what number is that? I guess you don't have the number on there yet. I
No.
need to get, okay. So a resolution to replace that.
Yeah, so it's the same date.
It's same thing. Yeah, just the wording.
So I need a resolution.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Those favors say aye.
Aye.
And then we have approved equipment contract with Southeastern Equipment Company, and I think this is for is that supposed to be, say, tire roller?
Yeah, tired, that's.
Tired.
That's-
Tire roller, how they say it?
Yeah, just
Sound like me.
It's tired. It's not tired as in you're sleepy. It's a tired roller
Okay.
that has tires on it. That's
All right,
they-
it's for $1,640.
Motion to be tired.
Second.
And those in favor say aye.
It's not a typo. It is.
All right, then we have approval of an adoption of the Knox County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazardous Mitigation Plan. And this is from JT to Sean.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Those favors say aye.
All right.
Okay, and then we have an approved memorandum of understanding with the Department of Job and Family Services and the Knox County Family and Children First Council to define the priorities and funding to support the needs of children enrolled in the Family and Children First Council Multi-System Youth Program.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Those favors say aye.
All right.
Aye.
And then we have a Job and Family Services authorizing them to transfer 2026 Community and Protective Service Funds grant in an amount not to exceed $78,240 from public assistance for the Knox County Child Support Enforcement Agency. That was just an internal transfer.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Those favors say aye.
Aye.
And then the last is to approve an advertisement in the Mount Vernon News for a legal notice, invitation to bid for the Job and Family Services office supplies for 2026. And the reason this one is required still is because it's JFS and it's the state funding, so that's why the law didn't apply to that.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Those favors say aye.
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 And then we have some bills and some transfers. And let's see, this is just penny that we received this liquor permit.
Yep.
Uh,
Well, basically, it's a letter on what legislative authorities can do if they would like to object
to this.
any renewal of a retail liquor permit, because coming in January, everybody will have to renew.
Okay. So this is just entered into the record that we received that.
It's giving commissioners the opportunity to object to it. Is that, I don't understand.
Anybody in the community.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's already been on the
Yeah,
ballot.
anybody can can request a
That's
hearing.
different.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Sunday, say I told them.
And where, that license is just in the county, and it's not.
That's each individual,
That's-
yeah, each individual liquor permit holder.
So it's not putting any.
So they're all
township-
gonna have to get new permits, everybody.
Well, they renew.
Oh, I
every year.
did. Okay.
Everybody was
Okay,
renewed.
I follow.
In February.
Okay. And, I think that's it, commissioners. That's all we've got for today.
Okay. Anything, Barry? Yes, sir.
Congratulations on the new transit Vehicle, Bethany, great job.
Mhm.
We might wanna mention, you can mention the 211 site, Bill, for people to.
Yes, we do have on our county's website, the link to 211, so if people need information. They can get on our site. The 211 pathways.com is another way that they can go on, but on our website, we have a link for you to go, and I haven't been on that link, so I don't know if they have the list of all the agencies that they have contact with. But if you have a need, you can contact 211 and have that done. Christian, anything? Um,
Today.
I'd like to send out kudos for a few good men, people that did the performance at the Memorial Theater this past weekend. It was superior to a lot of programs that I've seen. So the Mount Vernon Arts Consortium knocked that one out of the park. And
Commissioner, I
then,
guess to mention too, next week, Penny, we're scheduled Tuesday was bills only, right? To sign bills, commissioners to sign bills, and then obviously Thursday is Thanksgiving, we won't have session, so. Unless something comes up of an urgent nature, we'll have actual session, but otherwise, we were set to just do bills on Tuesday.
next Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then in case people haven't heard, the back of our service center is totally and officially opened. For people to be able to come in that way, if they so desire to do that, so. Other than that, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We stand adjourned, everyone have a great week, thank you.